Hi, this is Vinney Chopra. Thank you for again joining on my podcast, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. As you know, I wrote that book, which is a top seller in Amazon. Internationally also got a lot of acclaim, reviews and all. And this podcast is about syndication, about commercial investing. I like to bring great guests for you and dig into their story, their successes, and find out some nuggets from them so that you could really enjoy them and learn from them and then implement them. Hey guys, this is Vinney Chopra, the Syndication Made Easy podcast, show, all the different things. I hope you're liking all the content we are bringing to you. Just great people, personalities like Gualter Amarelo, who's just in the house. You're going to love him. What a great mindset, the billionaire mindset. We're going to talk about that. And he's got a great community we're going to talk about. And I just went on his website, 52 Principles of Wealth. We're going to try to get some really great nuggets out of this wonderful person. I have known him for some time now, and it's just exciting. It's so exciting. And we're going to get together because he's in Florida and I'm here in California, and I'm building right around him, all the assisted livings and all that. So we're going to have fun. We were at the Ritz-Carlton in Sarasota, actually, and met with some fabulous people there, And again, let me just kind of talk about, who is Gualter? Gualter Amarelo is the author of the book, Broke to $250,000. There it is, brother. Please go ahead and get it on Amazon right there. Yes. And as well as the creator of numerous life-changing trainings on wealth and mindset. And we're going to dig into mindset big times today. Look at that right there. I love it. And then he earned $3 million, guys. How many people make $3 million, in this country, in USA or around the world? Very few people, maybe 0.5% of the population possibly makes, 3 million plus. And, I'm in his club too, by the way. Hey, through his businesses, nearly 500,000 simply by using his own real world experiences and to help hundreds of students create high levels of, success in their own lives. Gualter, brother, so glad to have you. You bet.
But it's so cool to be here, man. I love that we finally got to connect. You spent time with your family last week, and now you're back at the game.
We were in Puerto Vallarta, my wife and I. We've been celebrating. Actually, we just finished our 42nd wedding anniversary. I know, 42nd. And we were in the city, San Francisco, with our kids, Neil and Monica, every night going to beautiful restaurants. And we stayed there 2 nights and went to Sausalito, Pier 31, Pier 39, and Fisherman Wharf, and all those great places. So Vinney is recharged.
I have been to that part of California, and I know what you mean. It is very recharging. There's something about the energy, just the people, the sun, the weather. So I'm glad, man. I know you're down here in Sarasota recently, checking out some of your projects. So very cool.
Yes. I know Punta Gorda, Cape Coral. We're building in Ocala, in Jacksonville, in Palm Bay, in Sebastian, in Venice. You name it, brother. We are
Sarasota,
all over
you're all over the place.
I know. We just bought land in Claremont, right there, and buying 3 pieces of more lands there. So we are building assisted senior living. We'll maybe talk about it a little bit later on. But today's show is your show. Tell me more about you. You're such a great personality, and you became that pretty quickly. So tell me more about your roots and what turned the corner for you, and let's get into your head.
Vinney, so one of the things you and I have in common is our smile. So we're always smiling, we're always happy, but it wasn't always like that, right? When I started out, I was actually kind of a cynical person. I was homeschooled, so I didn't get to spend any time with people. And I had a very negative belief on the world. I thought the world was dangerous. I thought the world was scary because, my parents had the same belief. And, as a child, like, it was just, okay, like, learn how to protect yourself. That was my whole world, was protect yourself. And I believe the money was scarce, and money was hard. I had to work hard for money. Money didn't grow on trees, which, by the way, we both know it does.
Yes.
And I thought that the hard work was the easiest way for me to stay away from people and avoid everyone. And I spent years with this mindset, Vinney, years of just like trying to avoid people, trying to stay under the radar in companies. And it wasn't until I was about 28 years old or something in me just snapped. I said, oh my God, I'm almost 30 and I'm not a millionaire. And I don't know why this is so important to me, but it was just like something in me said, oh my God, like, I got to change the way I'm doing things. And from that point forward, it was book after book after book after book. I read over 350 books on wealth and, investment and business and mindset, and obviously apartment syndication. So being on this podcast with you was so cool to me, because you're one of the people who taught me, how to think bigger and get outside of my comfort zone.
Oh, thank you. But that 28, and to be very truthful, lots and lots of us are in that boat really today. I mean, look what's happening in the world with so much negativism. Look at the war going on, all those things, right? But who can really make a difference in our life is us, right? We could blame everybody around us, and everybody. I mean, we can point fingers, and this is not right, that's not right. Why me? Poor me, God, why me? And whenever I remember when somebody told me, if you point one finger outside, 3 fingers are coming to you.
It's the truth, Vinney. I used to point. I was pointing everywhere. Everything else was the fault. Everybody else was their problem. My mom, my dad, the religion. It was the government. They took all my money after taxes. It was that the stock market was rigged. They took all my money. Real estate. All the good real estate investors took all the deals. Like, so I could never win, right? Until I started realizing the common denominator was always me. If I was always in the niche, then I had to change. I had to change how I thought, because I was the one.
Hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can, bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you.
Because I was the one choosing the stocks. How is it that another guy could do good and I would do bad? How is it another guy would find the deal and I would be right there, same situation, and I wouldn't get the deal? I started realizing I had to change the way I thought. I had to change the way I communicated. I had to change the people I was hanging around with, because people I were hanging around with were agreeing with everything that I said, and I was broke. I had to get away from the people who agreed that the world was a broke or scarce place, and I had to start shifting to people who were like, man, like, there's a lot of opportunity. I make my own economy. That was one of the first words I heard from somebody. It was T. Harv Eker. And he said, no matter what happens, I make my own economy. When the economy go up, economy go down, I'm still doing well. I'm still helping other people do well. And I said, man, I want to be a part of the helping other people do well. Because, I went through a divorce. Fortunately, you've been married 42 years, which, by the way, blessing.
42 years, brother.
We all deserve that happiness. And but I wasn't listening to my spouse, which I know obviously 42 years you're listening. I wasn't listening to her. And so I went through a crazy divorce and I lost everything. And then I was worth less than I was born with. I felt worth less. I lost my wife. I lost my job. I lost my belief system, and I lost all my money. And I had to dig. I had to find a reason to still be here on the planet. And that reason was I've got to be able to help somebody else who might be in this situation. If somebody else might, have been lost everything and they're thinking about how do they build back up, or maybe they were raised in a situation where money was scarce. How do we prove to them it's not? How do we open their minds, that mindset of abundance, and deliver it? And I didn't know how. I didn't even believe it myself. I just knew in that moment that I would find a way. And when I did, I would teach as many people as possible. And Vinney, that's what keeps me fueled today. That's what gives me that smile every day. Hanging out with people like you, it's what keeps me reaching up and reaching out and saying, how do we keep doing this? How do we build 100 millionaires inspired to build 100 millionaires?
I love it. I love it. And this life is to give, give, and give, and don't expect anything in return. I really believe that. And the universal law is that the abundance thinking and the mindset and everything. And if you're really going in a serving attitude, the gratitude and the serving, and just connected with the people, everybody that comes in touch with us, and just give our heart out to them, right? And that's what it is. If we can make a difference in one person's life, you're making millions of people, turn the corner and get control of their life and, where they are at the down deep. Everybody gets, a lot of time people think that you and I are very positive. A lot of people are very positive, but guess what? We all have our down days. We all have our inhibitions, all these things happen in our mind too. But the only thing is you and I and others, little bit positivity, little bit, keeping, it's just kind of putting layer after layer after layer. And then you see the results, incremental results. Then you say, I want to do that a little bit more. Isn't that right?
That's why my dad used to tell me the story of the two wolves. We all have two wolves in our minds. There's the negative wolf and the positive wolf.
Yes.
And he'd ask me which one survives, which one wins. They're both very strong. And I tell my dad, well, the good wolf. And he said, well, son, whichever one you feed. Whichever one you feed. Positive thoughts, feed the good wolf. Negative thoughts, feed the bad wolf.
I love that. I love that. Very similarly in that, way back, when I was selling books door to door and everything. And, I kind of talk about that, in that when I came from India way back when, and I was walking actually 13 hours a day, totally walking, didn't have a bicycle, didn't have a car, couldn't afford one. But the thing was, somebody told me, they said, you know what, Mr. Mediocrity is on our left shoulder and Mrs. Mediocrity is on the right shoulder. So it's up to you to decide if you want to take, I listen to her or him.
Wow. I love it. Because either choice, it's up to you. It's your decision.
It's our decision. Our life is a why. I always say that, right? Every moment, so often we come with the why, the good and the bad, and yes and the no. And how many times we go towards we are undecisive sometimes, then you just stand still there. You look at this side and this side, where to go. But the key thing about life is to take action. Look at what you have in your plate. An intelligent person, what would they decide on? Doing it, right? Yeah. And make that decision. What we do after the decision is made is more accountability. To make it right or wrong, it's within us, right?
Yes. The answers are within us. Vinney, accountability. You're hitting on the key things to becoming successful. And I love hearing it from you because you're like this far away from billionaire. You're like right there about to hit it. It's already obvious to us that this is your path. And I've been seeing the same things. It's accountability, it's right knowledge, and it's believing it's possible for yourself. You've got to believe it's possible, and you've got to take right action. You've got to speed to action. You got to make that choice. Every day there's a choice. Every day there's a decision. But we're getting hit with all of this information. Oh, there's not enough deals. Oh, the market's hot. Or, the inflation is crazy. And, some people look at that and say, oh my God, like this is a terrible time to get into real estate. Whereas other people think, well, assisted living, I could continue growing this. Look at the markets that need this demand. Oh my God, the money is cheap right now. It's available. So like the same triggers are driving us in a completely different direction.
So true, so true, so true. What you're saying that, where you are, how well you have succeeded, it's because all in the mind. And again, a lot of people ask me, they say, Vinney, how do you really train your mind? The biggest thing is to train your mind. You got to take the negatives out. How could you put in a jar, which is already filled with rocks and sand and pebble and water? And if you want to put more in the jar, you can't. So you got to take the negatives out, have little positive things coming in, taking it incrementally. More and more of our focus and our mindset and our thinking will turn into more positivity. Just the book, I rewrote the book, by the way. I just sent it out to my friends today. We relaunched it, and my wife didn't like the first edition, by the way.
No way.
She liked that book. She liked the syndication book, but my positivity brings profitability. I gave my last copy. I ordered some more, but that positivity book, she read it. She says, you know what? I've been married to you for over 40 years, but you have a lot more positivity than this book you wrote about. I went to work on it, and several drafts later, I just republished it yesterday. So that's what my team has been sending to everybody, to buy that book or whatever. But we have 53 positive comments already on Amazon. It was an international top seller when I launched it, but I relaunched it now. But anyway, let's talk about, how could you say in your training, the people who you're really training to become strong mindset-wise, what are some principles you could share with us? Yeah.
Thank you, Vinney. So, and by the way, your book is already on order. So thank you for redoing that and putting it out for us.
Thank you.
The mindset is the part that people don't ask for before they come to us. It's only after they start working with us that they start realizing, it's not the technical how to invest in real estate or the technical how to gain wealth that they need, because that's for free. That's out there. They already have the information. Mm-hmm. It's the why they aren't taking action, the emotional intelligence, what's stopping them from saying yes to themselves and opportunities, the self-sabotage, the self-destruction habits that they're running into. And so a lot of the people that come in don't know there's a problem. So we can't point it out either. I can't sell a program that says, hey, by the way, when you come in, we're going to work on your mindset. The idea is we're just going to help you become a millionaire. Yeah. And become a millionaire really is listen to the person. Everybody's millionaire path is going to be a little different. They're individual human beings, they're individual skill sets, mindsets, and networks. So you have to treat them differently. Yeah. And as a person is coming through our program, as they're coming through our process, we start realizing, okay, this person had a little bit of trauma early on in their lives, and they were told not to talk to strangers. So now they're having a hard time with selling. They're having a hard time raising capital, or letting people know how awesome their project is, or building partnerships, or trusting. It seems that contractors always take advantage of them because of this mindset that happened when they were 4 or 7 years old. So we work on that. I have a coach who's a specialist, actually a psychologist, doctorate, and he's a hypnotherapist and an NLP practitioner. So he brings that to open them up. And then from that point, they launch forward. And there's other elements inside of each one of us that and by the way, like these traumas aren't things you'd write home about. Like, these are not things like you'd be like, oh, I was really abused as a child. Like, this is like little stuff. Your mom told you that, you shouldn't talk to strangers when you were a kid. Wow. And you were like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I should never talk to strangers. And it stops your ability to raise capital, stops your ability to go out and ask people for money. And they're dangerous, right? They're in there and nobody knows about them.
Amazing what you just said. I mean, those small, what should I say? Like the scotomas or the
scotomas, exactly.
Blocks really hamper our whole thinking. And then we are in a cocoon to just not able to come out of it, to become that butterfly.
Yes.
Right, and what you're doing is so special. I'm so proud of you. What your service. I mean, that's worth millions of dollars. Because once you come out of that, rut or the darkness, let's say that.
Yes.
I mean, you're into light, and then the light is when you are just ready to take on charge of your life, and you're ready to blossom and be productive and just be the best person ever in your family, in your circle of friends. I mean, everything. You're a productive member of the society, and you are just on a path to freedom and the abundance. And oh my gosh, that's so exciting, so exciting.
Vinney, you sound exactly like Deepak Chopra. So that is where alchemy came from. Alchemist Nation was based on the idea that Deepak Chopra put in some of his writings about taking a person from darkness into light, from pain and suffering and misery into abundance, into awareness, into truth, and creation versus competition. And that's where we started saying, okay, like we're going to turn everybody into an alchemist, somebody who not only transforms themselves, has the ability to transform others, to see the truth, to see the abundance of the universe and what we have available to us. It is, it's the best work that we could do, but it's also, it's so enjoyable to watch because it just takes a mind of its own. Like I said, everybody has its own paths.
Exactly. And what I'm really kind of thinking ahead is, as you change one person's life, remember, they're going to change 10 more people or 20 more people's life. So actually your one, seed is going to change 100 millions of people. I mean, look at that. We are 8 billion. And by the time, in 20, 30 years, we'll be 9 billion, 10 billion. So 100 million out of the 10 billion is pretty small percentage, which is, it's reachable. I really believe what you're saying, brother. I'm with you. Because see, the thing is, nobody really teaches success. Nobody talks about finances. Nobody talks about real estate. We are in real estate now. Nobody talks about attitude. I think our elementary and junior high and high school should really have these special classes to get set the winning attitude, mindset, which can really take us to a new level in our graduating, seniors and all in colleges and all that. I don't know. I really want to impact, and maybe you and I should kind of think about and talk about how could we offer to young people. I'm thinking about like junior high, high school, and even, in the junior high and high, some youth, success principles. And we could do some recordings together just to kind of get them started on that path.
Vinney, it's in the universe. I love this conversation because I recently got a text message at 7:45 at night. It was Tim Mai, and he was on a call with Robert Allen and 7 teenagers.
Yeah, very nice.
Right? 7 teenagers. And they said, we're building millionaires. We want to teach these teens. We want to prove it's possible to get these teens to become millionaires.
Yes.
So when you jump on the call, because I do them small multifamilies.
Yes.
I said, yeah, absolutely. This is literally this week, Vinney. So you're saying it to me. I heard it from Robert Allen. Like, I would love to do this with you because it's on my heart. And I know that, imagine if we could change their mindset at 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. They could be millionaires by the time they're 21 and be donating to charities or building things in businesses that change the way the world works. And with a mindset that isn't, scared, a mindset that doesn't believe the world's evil, like a mindset that says, yes, let's do what's good for each other, for ourselves, and keep growing. I love it. 100%. 52 Wealth Principles from Vinney Chopra.
Yes. I think that'll be great. 52 Wealth Principles for the youth. I think we could really put it together. Actually, I started this whole project a few years back. A very good friend of mine, Joshua Mendoza, got a Bill Gates, foundation scholarship, went to, right here at Stanford, and he reached out to me. He's a great friend of mine. And actually, we started a youth academy, and we even recorded some lectures for the young people in elementary school and so on. So I'll share that with you. And maybe we could kind of, do more and more and keep on adding these, and you have a platform, I have a platform, free platform on, my, wherever I'll share with you, and let's do it. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
This is huge. This is huge. So I tell everybody to get on my podcast. I just ask that you donate a course. So I have Millionaires on the podcast. I ask donate a course. The course goes on Alchemist Nation for free. We pay it forward. We just teach, we share. And I love the idea of going back and forth. In fact, if for everybody who's listening, I actually just posted your course, Vinney, on the mindset of a billionaire on alchemistnation.com. So the video that you and I did together, I turned that into a course with 5 different lessons. And it's just, gosh. I've watched it multiple times. It's so valuable.
Oh my gosh. I would love to watch it too. Yeah. No, I think we should do even more so. Because I think our energy is so strong, so good. And, again, all these things, it's, what we are trying to do is, if we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the fusion, like in physics, those 10 can spread the word to tens and thousands of people. And that's all about. The key thing is, we should just act on it. I really believe that, because the thing is, if we can move the youth in the right path, they'll be then abstaining from all the drugs and gangs and guns and everything that can make them such special member of the society. I really want to do that. Yeah. And you do too. So let's talk about let's go into more, what's the mindset of, people in real estate or not in real estate, diversification. What do you come across there? Yeah.
So there's a big difference between the guys who flip houses and the guys and gals that do syndications. And the people who are flipping or wholesaling are just thinking very short term. They're thinking, how do I get rich? How do I make money? How do I make money? Yeah. Whereas the people who are doing syndications are thinking, how do I do a project that makes the community a better place, that makes my investors money, and also makes me feel proud of who I am and what I've accomplished, and they get paid, right? Like, it's kind of, I think what makes somebody do a syndication versus somebody who does a flip is the long-term mindset, in that they're not thinking about the money. Now, the money it's a part of doing business, so it has to be there, but it's something they're already good at. They're already, like, the money's, that's a no matter what, has to make money. Otherwise, there's no point in doing the project.
Sure.
But they're able to look at that next level and say, okay, how do my investors make out? We have to. We're always looking at the numbers, right, Vinney? I know I've talked to you, and my investors have to get paid. There has to be a return. There's a reason we're doing this. It's got to make sense for the community, right? Like, for people who do flips and wholesale, they're selfish. And like, I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but all they're thinking about is themselves. Yeah. And syndicators, the bigger the multifamily investor is, the more they're thinking about other people, the more they're thinking about, how does this impact the city? How does it impact the education system in the area, the jobs in the area? Is there enough demand for this housing right now? Or would this glut the market and drop rents for everybody and hurt other landlords? There's so much thought of other people and other instances that come into a syndication model, which is why, when you're investing, you can't just invest based on the return on investment. You also have to invest based on sleeping at night points. Yes. Does this make me feel better as a human being? It's one of the reasons I invest in Tesla. I love Elon's vision. So I love that.
Me too.
One of the reasons I invest, right?
Yes.
He's thinking
my son also, yes.
and like the same thing with the syndications is, do I like the syndicator? Do I like the operator? Do I like the person and their passion, their mission, what they're doing? Is the project serving? Like when you and I were talking about doing assisted livings, it's like, this is an asset class that serves the people who can't serve themselves anymore, the
Yes.
elderly, the people who, paid it forward for generations, took care of their kids, their grandkids, their great grandkids. They built this country, the baby boom generation. And now